Grone Geeks proudly presents Marvel's newest property, What If? The following audio may contain coarse language and other materials that may not be for a younger audience. The opinions expressed in this audio are solely those of the speakers involved. These conversations may contain spoilers for current media such as games, comics, movies, television shows, and more. Grone Geeks makes no claim to ownership of any of the various media, simply the opinions expressed. Listener discretion is advised. Be sure to check out our Facebook group, which has a beautiful new banner of Marvel's What If and all the different things going on with that. So be sure to be one of those 1,300 members there. And we need some more of those members to make their way to the YouTube. There's 1,300 of you in Facebook. There's only 143 of you on the YouTube. Be sure to move on over. Be sure to give us a subscribe. Be sure to give us a like. Ring that notification bell so you can see all the amazing content we got going on there. That will follow us to our audio-only podcast where you can just listen to our sultry voices educate you on everything going on in the world of sports, games, comics, movies, and more. Without any further ado, Marvel's What If property, and as with all things Marvel, up top we have the man, the myth, the Marvel, Will Parker, joining the panel this evening, very happily muted at this moment. And I will be your host for this evening. Brent, as always, just running tech, making sure that I'm hitting up Will with those questions that you Grone Geeks at home are very interested in learning about. Before we get going, how you doing today, Will? You happy with Marvel's newest property?
I am very happy with what's going on so far. So that I think that this series was a strong opening for this series. So I can't wait to see what they have in the follow-up episodes.
Because, I was simply blown away. It took a minute to get used to the animation style, because the animation style seems something similar to, like, if you remember the old Disney movie Anastasia and, like, Iron Giant, and if you combine those two artistic forms together, that's kind of what I got the feel for throughout this. Maybe a little Jimmy Neutron-esque, but that's not really Disney's bag. But that's what the art style felt like for me, and it didn't detract anything at all from the show itself. Did it have any hindrance to you, or was it something?
No, I mean the animation style was fine. So that I actually like that they did it in animation, just for the simple fact that it's a lower cost method to kind of get everything out there and stuff like that. A lot of the voice lines and stuff like that could be pulled straight from the Marvel properties they've already filmed and stuff like that. So it's a lot of downtime, and it allows them to kind of get a little bit more creative with what they're bringing to the screen. But no, the animation was completely fine and stuff like that. Freaking had no problems with anything going on. The audio was great. Like it was solid.
Yeah, it was a really good property. Literally in this episode 1, Grone Geeks, we had Peggy Carter swap places with Steve in getting the super serum. She becomes the superhero. Steve becomes this alternate Hydra Stomper was the word they used for it. But as you were saying, it was what, the Iron Mongol?
Yeah, the suit reminded me of Ironmonger. I mean, a lot of people say the original Iron Man suit, which I'm fine with, but just the capabilities of the suit and so that reminded me of Ironmonger's capabilities with the suit. So it looked good, so like that, and yeah, see Steve run around, doing his best, Iron Man impression.
It was definitely different because there was a lot less flash. There was a lot more substance behind it, because it wasn't like had the fully developed, Robert Downey Jr. there. It was like we just had Steve Rogers, who's always been Steve Rogers. You know exactly who his character is, and like even with everything changing places, there was like zero ill will on his part. He just played his part the way he knew how to, and
I mean, that's the way that Steve Rogers is. So that even though he did not become Cap in this series and stuff like that, that's the reason why he was chosen to become Cap in the first place. Like his morals and stuff don't falter, they don't waver. If he wasn't able to do it, he supported the next person that was able to, and he made sure that he helped in any way possible, whether it be him in the suit or without the suit. He didn't care. He was ready to go. So it's fantastic.
It was nice. And then I really liked how Peggy was still who Peggy was. She's always been a little bit more brash. She's been a little bit more forward, but she's always been a very intelligent woman who knew what she wanted and knew how to handle business when things needed to get done. And nothing changed at all throughout the fact that when she got the serum, there wasn't any aspects of her character that brought out anything that was bad per se. And I think that the costume was a nice touch. Actually, it kind of looked Captain Britain-esque, but like
Yeah, they had the like the Union Jack on there type thing going on. So let's say it looked good and stuff like that. It fit her well and stuff like that. And I love that. And I've seen a couple different variations of the costume stuff like that. I love that variation that they went with stuff like that. Freaking no mask stuff like that. And I love how Peggy was full out. Like you called her brash stuff like that. She's out there like just straight thrashing people.
because
And so,
like the one guy that stood out was she hits the five guys, they bounce off the wall. One dude bounces off high. She chest kicks him into the wall again, just cause. You're just like, well, that was personal. Like shit.
personal was when that big dude walked up and said something. Oh, they sent a woman to, and she's like, nah, she straight snapped. And the thing is, like, we didn't get any freaking no issues. Like, she straight broke this man, like literally broke parts of his body and so like that, and put him in the dirt.
Because his kneecap was that way. His ribs were shattered, and then did she do an uppercut on his chin or on his throat afterwards?
Man, freaking, I gotta go back and watch it again. But look, she laid him the fuck out. I was so hyped in the action, and I didn't get to watch it twice. I'm waiting on my wife to watch it again. But yeah, she was not pulling any punches and so like that at all.
No, she was handling her business, and now there's very, very obvious reason like why there's so few heroines like involved in Marvel, because literally all of Marvel's women are just bad, bad women who handle business. 100% or not at all. There's no weak hitters on the squad. Everyone is just coming straight for you, and it's very nice. The one thing that I also kind of want to talk about, I know we didn't talk about it before we got going, but there was some controversy from Marvel surrounding their superhero catalog. You shared it in the group. I just wanted to touch upon it real quick. They changed Captain America's image from Sam Wilson, from the Falcon and Winter Soldier miniseries, already over to Agent Carter. In your mind, is that any sort of slight, or are they just being very, very aware of the time frame of what's going on?
No, I think that people have an issue with the wrong thing. So that, like, yes, Captain America was officially, the mantle was handed over to Sam Wilson and stuff like that. We saw him going through the whole process in Falcon Winter Soldier, stuff like that, and he became Captain America. Happy for my boy, freaking A, he's doing the things stuff
he
like
earned
that.
The Stars and Stripes
Like that.
Spades.
This What If series and stuff like that is just to showcase the different variations of Captain America and stuff like that. So we saw Steve Rogers, who was in a different role, and we saw Peggy Carter, who was in a different role. She was the captain and stuff like that. And granted, it wasn't necessarily Captain America and stuff like that, but again, the fact that the mantle was literally went from Steve to her, so that, and he was okay with it. Like, he was hurt, granted, and stuff, but he was okay with it. Howard was okay with it. Like, decision had to be made, so that, and she went and did it. It just makes sense that freaking the Captain America Twitter handle changed just their name, not their Twitter handle. They just changed it to Captain Carter, specifically for the promotion of the What If series, because in that freaking timeline, she's the Captain America. Like, if you were to pull the people from the Spider-Verse, just like the Spider-Verse timeline, they pulled all the Spider-Man from the Spider-Verse. It didn't pull all the Peter Parkers. It pulled whoever was Spider-Man at the time. So it pulled Ghost Spider. It pulled freaking Spider-Man Noir. So with that, it pulled freaking Peter Parker in there with Miles. So with that, it pulled whoever was the Spider-Man. The same concept goes for this. They're gonna pull whatever Captain America is prevalent at the time from whatever multiverse they're in, and this is another multiverse. This isn't the standard timeline. This is an alternate freaking multiverse that one decision changed and she became the captain instead of Steve Rogers. So everybody who's up in arms and stuff about it, so with that, relax. They'll probably have it up for freaking, at minimum, I say probably a week, at maximum, probably for the length of the What If series or whatever, until they're getting ready to do more stuff for Captain America 4 or whatever the case may be. So it's fine. It's okay. Don't get your, don't get your fingers in the twist. you know, like
Yeah,
it'll be okay.
because just to follow that last statement, then we'll move right on from that topic. Is Marvel and Kevin Feige would not do what they did for Sam Wilson's character and fully showing who he is and what he's about and that he was worthy of the mantle just for 2 series later, just to shove him to the side and then bring somebody else up to replace him. They did his character justice and they will continue to do so. This will have no major implication on who he is as Captain America and everything that we have known and seen. Well, that does bring up a whole nother question that we need to get into. This whole what if scenario, this multiverse of bringing on the madness, is this canon?
All of this is canon, and so at that, there's no reason for any of this not to be canon. So at that, these are alternate timelines. That's the whole reason about what if, because you gotta remember we're centered in the 616 universe, so that per the MCU, it's the 199999 universe, I believe, some of that. Because it's either 5 or 6 nines after the one. So at that, but again, this is this timeline because things are gonna go different. That's why the snap that we have during the Infinity War and stuff in the comics and stuff like that. That's why it didn't happen the exact same way in the MCU as it did in the comics, because the comics is 616, mostly, 616. Excuse me, where the MCU is working off a different timeline, and the What If series are all alternate timelines. Now, here's the thing: is these all alternate timelines could be all one timeline, just a different series of events that happen throughout the whole thing. We don't know yet. So that, or they could be several different universes, and they're just showing us stories from each of these different universes. We don't know. In the back of my head, what I'm kind of hoping is what that is, that this is all concurrent under one universe, and maybe at the end of the series finale and stuff like that, hey, we may get a scene where all of them are brought together or something like that. You got freaking T'Challa, Star Lord, freaking with Iron Man, Killmonger, and freaking, Captain Carter, all facing off against, some enemy or whatever, so that for whatever reason. We don't know, and we got ways for that to happen per some of the stuff you saw in the last fight in that What If series.
Yeah, because I mean, that last fight, they infiltrate whatever castle, blah, 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 in Germany while they're going to go after Red Skull. Red Skull is like, oh yeah, we just summoned our god champion. I use the term champion for lack of a better term. He summoned their champion, and this tentacle monster just came forth from the power of the Tesseract. And you're just kind of sitting there, just like, what in the Sam hell is this? Because, like, in the comics that you know and love, they are very closely associated with Hive. But we have yet to see Hive make an MCU relevant debut, am I correct?
True.
And then on top of that, it also looks something akin to Shuma Gorath, which is what I was hoping for in WandaVision, and I got horribly Agatha all along, as was many of our panels for many of the videos that we have up on our YouTube channel that you should be subscribed to and notified of everything that we do. But in your mind, if you had to like try and just put a pin or just like an educated guess on what this tentacle being was that Agent Carter fought off with, and this tentacle monster killed Red Skull to our knowledge, who do you think it would be?
Well, in most cases like that, my natural inflections seem to go towards Hive. I said Cthulhu, freaking Shumagarath. Like those are the ones that stick out to me most and stuff like that. But again, freaking Hive is the only one that really sticks out as far as Hydra's concerned, while the other ones have, more freedom, throughout the Marvel universe and stuff like that. So right now, all we know is that it was a champion. So can't really put an official name on anything so with that. And I think a few people are speculating so with that more Shuma because it makes sense for hopping through multiverse. But we also saw during that fight when Captain Carter got moved to an alternate timeline, so that we saw some of the tentacles and stuff get chopped off. So is like it could be dead, but I never count anything dead unless I see the body on screen. Um, it could be injured and stuff like that, or it could just be freaking a lower tier of some other monster and stuff like that, coming forward. So
Yeah.
again, we're all in speculation mode right now, but we just gotta kind of wait and see.
I mean, it was exceptionally crazy that as soon as that fight ended and she's pulled through to that alternate timeline, you were correct that only some of the tentacles showed up, but also the minute that portal opened up, I'm like, is that the freaking Avengers setup from where Loki popped through? And
Mm-hmm.
like literally next thing you know, pans out, there's Nick Fury with Hawkeye, and you're just like, wow, they did a stunning job with just translating a cinematic real time thing to an animation style, and you're just wow. It was mind blowing to see what Marvel has been doing, and with everything that they have going on with this What If property, this is answering so many like fans' interest in like alter timelines. Be like, well, what if blah 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 happened? There's so many applications to this. It could literally be even its own spin-off series in Grown Geeks. Because I mean, you just say what if, geeks' minds get excited.
Mm-hmm.
And then as, a huge Marvel fan, I just can't imagine how excited you are for everything they have moving forward.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see what they got going. Again, this What If series can just kind of set up a couple different things so that they can just leave it as a standalone or stuff like that, or they can spin it into the multiverse of madness or anything else like that. Because it's not far fetched to say we've seen a character in animated form and stuff like that, and that same character in animated form, can still show up on screen in live action. Like there's nothing to say because that's the thing. You look at again into the Spider Verse and stuff like that. You got literally, Spider Ham, who's a cartoon, who's moving around with the 3D characters and stuff like that, freaking who are essentially real people in their world and stuff like that. While it's a cartoon, the translation can still work. So Marvel can still do the same thing, with any character that they create during the animated versions.
Yeah, because this would be a very, very interesting way of them. I think, in my mind, the ultimate payoff for me would be at some point they find a way to get most of these animated characters into the live screen, and they do it in a way in which Miles Morales can be brought officially into the MCU, other than just through the animation style of Into the Spider Verse, which is one of the greatest films we've had, animation style period. Let alone anything you've seen.
I mean, it allows for a lot, so especially with everything that Marvel's doing within the What If series. Because if you notice during Captain Carter, like once the beginning kicked off, there was no slowdown in action. Like it was balls to the wall. Like, hey, this is going down. We got to do this. We got to do this. Let's talk about this. What we're going to do from here. Hey, let's go do this. Let's go do this. And they were moving the entire time.
There were
A
no
lot of
bathroom
people.
breaks. There were no slow pauses. It was just once the foot hit gas pedal, just kept going.
Yeah, so again, I'm all about what they got going on and the fact that they can literally translate any character from this animated on, so that hey, do it. And that includes if they decided to bring Miles Morales, which I think is still a little bit soon, so that, but the options on the table, freaking, as long as they continue good partnership with Sony and stuff like that, like hey, in the future and stuff like that, we could see it brought to light.
And which would be absolutely amazing. And then, if I'm not mistaken, this is also Marvel's last property that contains Chadwick Boseman voicing any character, correct? So this would be his last piece
That
he's
is
ever done.
correct. A lot of people, it was a little bit of controversy. A lot of people were sitting there talking about, they're trying to use Chadwick and stuff like that when that wasn't the case. So that Chadwick had already recorded these lines long before. He recorded a lot of stuff for Marvel and stuff like that for them to use, and all that needed to be put in was the animation, so like that. So everything was recorded, everything was put together, so like that. And you know, uh, I'm gonna look. I missed the man. I do. I said Chadwick was awesome, great actor, freaking, great husband, stuff like that, great humanitarian. He was always there for the kids and stuff like that. A lot of good stuff with him. So the fact that we still get to see a bit of him and freaking his performance, stuff like that, is going to be great. And it allows for the story to be told in a different way. So Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa as Star Lord is going to be a, interesting story because I really want to see where it goes.
That would probably be one of the more influential stories that Marvel would have. And while we're on the subject of Chadwick, I just want to say Chadwick Boseman forever. I know I don't have some of the ties that some other of our panel have to, the Black Panther character, the Black Panther mantle, and everything that Chadwick encompassed. But as a human being, Chadwick Boseman was an embodiment of everything any human should ever want to be. And we love and miss him and honor his work. And I'm very, very excited to see what Marvel's able to bring to the screen just one more time so we can see the light that he really brought in the world. Because there was a reason we set aside an hour-long panel in Grown Geeks in our video catalog to honor this man and everything that he did. He was a humanitarian above all else, and he was a great human being above everything. And some of his roles will go down as iconic just for not only the characters he portrayed, but how much justice he portrayed for that character. And I think What If will be a beautiful series, and I hope they do his character justice so that he will be always remembered just as well, if not even better, than he already is by fans, because I've never heard negative things said about him. So, is there anything else at this time you would like to discuss concerning What If, or you feel like we have a pretty succinct wrap on this beautiful project that your Marvel has once again brought to us?
No, I mean I think we're pretty solid and stuff like that. Some characters we're looking to see and stuff like that are set up. Let's say again, Gamora, thought of Thanos, T'Challa is Star-Lord, so at that. Marvel Zombies, so at that. Looks like Killmonger and Tony Stark have a meeting. It could be, he could be the one that's put in Iron Man suit, so like that. I said a lot of things can kind of go down here. So it's just kind of a wait and see what's going on, because they didn't really announce a thing. It's just What If the series and an image of a bunch of characters. So we don't know if anybody's going to be playing side characters, main characters, what's up. So, hey, Marvel, do your thing. I'm with it. Let's rock it out.
And Grown Geeks, just letting you know, the more likes and more views we get on this video, the more we'll be wanting to do the midnight premieres like as we did in the past, which we're planning on doing next week. So if you want us to continue to do those shows, we need your likes, we need your views, we need your subscriptions to make sure that everything that we're doing for you, Grown Geeks, is shown that it is worth our time and yours to put out this amazing content for each and every one of you. So be sure to be subscribed, be sure to like the page, be sure to hit that notification bell so the minute that video drops, about 4 a.m. Eastern Time, 5 a.m. Eastern Time window, you already have everything you need to know for What If, so you can go and talk to your other geeky friends and let them know that Grown Geek sent you and that we have the inside scoop on everything going on within Marvel's What If. And in honor of this panel, we have Man, the Myth, Marvel up top, Will Parker. Thank you for your time, sir. Much appreciated as always. I've been Brent, your host. And as Tony would always say,